Welcome, returning and new subscribers. I am Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Pantera. Welcome all. Give you all a few to get the notification. Okay, before we get started. I'll say this energy here now is has some very deep emotion to it. If one has been holding on to preventing themselves from releasing through tears, it's inevitable at this point. That doesn't make you weak, okay? Just so you know. Let me put it to here, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. So yes, here we are once again. Welcome. I highly suggest having something to take notes with, okay, in the event that something comes through in this message and you'll have the information, okay? I do want to get some of this sage on as well. But once again, welcome, 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 welcome. May you all be well. And may these messages bring you the clarity that your heart and soul seeks. Because as you seek, so shall you find. And you're here for a reason. It's always great to have y'all. I want you all to take a deep breath. Inhale for 4, hold it for 4, and release. With the intention of inhaling clarity and exhaling and releasing confusion. And as you're holding for that count of 4, just enter the space of gratitude. So hold for 4, inviting clarity. Inhale for 4, inviting clarity. Hold for 4, stationing in gratitude. And exhale for 4, releasing confusion. And so, let's get behind y'all. So, as you can see from the title, the energy that was coming through, coming into the live is some of you are at a point where you're realizing something about yourself that allows you to exhale, but also it may bring some sort of sadness as you're doing so. Okay, give me 1 second. I can't even see y'all on here. The moon is still in Virgo at 25 degrees, and Mercury is in Aries at 25 degrees. 25 degrees is in Aries degree. So that's also bringing forth where you may protect yourself, your emotions, through the compulsive necessity to explain or justify the way you feel. And you may now be in a position of you no longer have to explain yourself. You may have said that before, but in actually moving that way, you're now taking those steps to, you know what I'm saying, follow what it is that you have stated in terms of, you know, you're ready to release whatever this is, and you don't have to explain yourself why you're doing so. Because in the past, you may have expressed a certain level of emotion or thoughts, and whomever this was you expressed it to, due to where they are at in their experience of life, they weren't able to be open and receptive to what it is that you were bringing to the table that you just wanted to gain clarity on. And this is beyond venting. It's beyond venting. Hold on. What? Okay, I'm back. It's beyond venting. And with it being beyond venting, you're now taking that time to reflect and have these conversations with yourself. Remember from yesterday's message, in regards to asking yourself, who are you? Not based off of your name, where you come from, but go deeper than the surface. Who are you? And if you want to utilize a practical tool, who are you at a soul level, you can become more familiar with your moon sign and the avatar that you're using to play out that role, your rising sign. Okay? So, coming on to the live, there was, you know, something that you're now cautious about. So much so you are aware of where you may in the past have been compulsive about it, but now, you know what I'm saying, you're analyzing the way you move. Especially when you're recognizing that you feel one way, but when it's time to communicate it, you say something else. Or something that doesn't match that deeper emotional truth of what it is that you're feeling. That can then lead to creating some sort of tension or misunderstanding with other people. You know, so it's, we're going to look into it and see what's up. But at the same time, it's given, some of you may want to look more into magnesium. because I felt that calming energy along with it too, where it's things that are coming to the surface, sulfur. Mm. There's a lower emotion, an emotion or an energy in motion that is occurring between the root, the solar plexus, and the root solar plexus that you are now more aware of. Again, the nose is coming up in terms of clairsentience, where you may smell the scent of a rotten egg to an extent before an energy approaches you. No one else smells that, obviously, but you, because of where you are at in your awareness and your level of sensitivity, there's this would be a form of protection in terms of where you're sensing things to become aware of what's showing up next. Okay, welcome. Breathe more, do more breathing exercises, grounding, writing out what it is that you feel. If it takes too long for the words to come out on paper, based on what you're feeling, record it, you know. And you can even take it to an extent where, let's say you do record a video, the way you would write something out and you burn the paper just to get send the energy back to source through fire, through the smoke. You can, I mean, we do want to be mindful of the fumes and stuff that comes from it, but you can put a video on something that you can record it on and then burn it. Same difference. You know, so, hey, there's ways you can do what you gotta do. But seriously, it would be extremely helpful for you during this time, if this is resonating with you already, to journal before you speak. Practicing more breath work and mindfulness. And most of all, give yourself grace to make room for clarity and for recognizing that is something you desire at this time. Once again, understanding is a personal affair. That's for you. Ain't for anyone else. It's a bonus though when you know what I'm saying, you can encounter someone who genuinely does, and that doesn't switch up. Okay. Let's see what else. There's an internal sense that something has been off without knowing what, which actually may have led into the difficulty of articulating your emotions, or the difficulty of articulating your emotions influences that, you know, something being off within you. However, especially if you may have said something in the past that, due to being impulsive, it's not something you wanted to say, especially if it was something that was said connected to some type of, there was some level of intensity within that communication. Yeah. You're going to be fine. Okay? Let's just start there. You're going to be fine. You're going to be able to look back at this moment as a point in your journey of growth. Okay? 6:16 on the clock, 5:07. Today's the 7th. Now with Pluto retrograde, this could bring you to the point where of coming up with solutions of unresolved thought patterns that you may have had or have. Because Pluto will invite you to transform how you process and express your feelings and thoughts, especially when it comes to some form of dynamic or power dynamic control, or the fear that you may have of vulnerability, because in the past when you may have placed yourself in a vulnerable position, it didn't go so well. Allow yourself to follow the energy, as subtle as it may be, to purge any outdated mental or emotional habits, especially around being right. Now we go into, what could help you with getting out of that form of social engineering of right or wrong, good or bad. Study your universal laws. Look at it more so from a cause and effect standpoint. It'll make your life a lot simpler. Okay. Let's see what the vibe is. I haven't used my deck in a minute, but I want to see what comes out here for y'all. All praises due to the Most High. I connect my heart and soul to the heart and soul of Mama Universe and Papa Universe. I connect my heart and soul to the heart and soul of my angels, spirit guides, ancestors, protectors, warriors that guide and protect me. I connect my heart and soul to my heart and soul, always in connection to the Most High. Always in connection to the Most High. Thank you, Source, for providing me with the strength to do what it is we do here together. I love it so much, and I love you. Some of you may want to have a conversation with the Most High, with Source, whatever it is that you are plugged into, that you are an extension of, as being an extension of Source. Have a conversation. The way you may want to have a conversation with a person who may not even have the bandwidth or the capacity to even hear or listen to where you're coming from. Promise you that's the best conversation you'll ever have. You can have it as frequently as you want to, too. So 1818 on the clock, and then 1919. What's the message here? The giver. You are the giver. Or something about the movie, watching the movie The Giver, or reading the book. Let's see what comes out with this. You got the third deacon. In the void for trespassing. Ancient Kemet. Immediately what comes through is that the opening of certain tombs was having some of you, because of your connection to it, awakening parts of your DNA that obviously have been dormant for ages. and whatever your sign is that you are connected to most at this time. You could, something about the third deacon. Now, as far as what we were speaking of with the moon and Mercury, they're both in the third deacon of Aries, which is ruled by Venus. Venus has to do with your core values, your sacred values. That leads into the decisions that you make. Okay. Let's see what else shows up here. You're a giver. It's time for you to fill your cup up more than you are filling others' cups, and being more than okay with that. And also I'm getting that this is a repetitive message at this point, because it's not the first time you're hearing that. It's 6:22 right now. The full moon in Scorpio coming up on the 12th will be full moon in Scorpio, 22 degrees, which is a Capricorn degree, which is a cardinal sign. And the fact that it's a fixed moon, this is you making a decision about the way you want to utilize the information that is coming to you through feelings. Now, this is a culmination or the result of something you started during the new moon in Scorpio. Welcome, my Dead I Soul fam, EVE. Shout out to the members of the channel, my love. Welcome. We have 180 degrees regeneration. What heals you is poison for another without knowing and believing its purpose. Okay, there goes that. So once again, if you're tuning in now, it's just 22:22 on the clock. The message from yesterday about you being the one, there are things that you are aware of that works for you that is not necessarily going to work for others. So that could also be something that you can utilize in terms of solving any form of unresolved thought patterns. Okay. Let's see what's at the bottom here. Fomalhaut, Royal Star, connected to the constellation of Pisces. Pisces, 3 degrees. That's 8 of Cups energy. 3 degrees Pisces. First deacon. Some of you, this energy is because you're highly transformative through art, music, writing, science, and spirituality. Because this energy of the Royal Star Fomalhaut, 3 degrees Pisces, it's connected to writers, scientists, and those with the creative mental energy. Let's see what else shows up. Some of you are screenwriters because we have The Giver and it's a movie and it says watch the movie. Some of you have been feeling as though your journey in life is you watching a movie. Or, you know, you could be, yeah, a writer for sure, a writer. Put that energy into creating. Create so you don't have to compete. I heard that today. Where did I hear that? I was listening to some audiobook. And it said create so you don't have to compete. See, ooh, that in itself, in terms of the transliteration of it, because it's easy for people to see that and say, well, what you're creating could be placed in a competitive setting. Not necessarily. It only becomes competition if you set yourself in that position. You know what I'm saying? But if you are creating from an authentic space, an original standpoint, 2500, we talk about this 25th degree, which is an Aries degree. You're moving from an authentic standpoint as you're creating. Competition is non-existent. Because there's only one you. Look at that. Chosen one. But it's only one you. Gematria 10, 20, 11, 56. Examine the ancient creator. Holy parents speak. It is finished. Something is over here. Especially with the third deacon. Where we at? We about to go into the third deacon of Taurus. That fast? It's almost Gemini season for real. I mean, in the sense of looking at the deacons. Meaning the 3 parts of each zodiac sign. We're in the second one of Taurus right now. We approach the third around the 11th. But look at here. They said it's finished. Deja vu. Something in regards to love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7. Love never gives up. And it's faith, knowing, and patience never fail. It says hope in the book, but no, we're not doing that over here. All right, we're not connecting anything to fear. Bars. So love never gives up, and it's faith, knowing, and patience never fail. So as long as you're creating from a space doing what you love, even if something doesn't work out, quote unquote, fail, it's still not going to be a failure for you because it's something that's going to help you to progress towards your goal. Boom, bam, bam. Eternal life. Straight up. Okay. Whatever this is you are coming into the space of after the storm, oh, it's going to live on for ages. It's a legacy. Something here that's a part of your legacy. Has to do with your words. Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they who indulge in it shall eat the fruit of it. Committed. What you say expresses what you're committed to. Now, let's rewind this in terms of any type of unresolved thought patterns or emotional control mechanisms that are coming up to the surface for you to analyze. Because what I'm seeing here is someone who is having a conversation with themselves about the way they may have allowed others to, change their perception of the way they see themselves. Noticing that, yes, you are a giver, you are someone of unconditional love, but you also have that side to you where fuck around and find out that's exactly what's going to happen. But you're also being mindful that you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Place yourselves into positions where you have to let someone fuck around and find out. And in doing so, you're now taking all of that energy that you would place into other situations into yourself. How others outside of you may feel about that, that's between them and whatever extension of source that they're connected to in their journey. It's not your business. Just as the saying goes, what you eat, what someone else eat, don't make you shit. There's that. What's at the top? New moon. Yeah. It's finished now. What started during the new moon in Scorpio is finished now. Harness the energy of the planet, be one with source, and ground those roots. New moon, clean slate, potential and dreams. From the new moon to the full moon is 6 months. Let's see where this is going. Let's see where this is going. Where's my, let's look at some of these angels and ancestors. I'm being guided to go towards this love deck. Let me see. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Passion. Playfulness. It's something about giving someone energetically, without recognizing it, the role of, or the experience that you may have wanted as far as communicating with the parent. And because you didn't have that level of communication with the parent, the way you would feel nurtured and whole, until that has been resolved, because it created a certain thought pattern where you feel as though that you're not usually heard, and it trickled into the relationships that you encountered, that they were more so lower base type of connections, more about passion and, you know, sexual passion, things of that nature, and not so much on the spiritual side of it. 633, 1833. Finances and learning. No, well, that could be something. But forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. And it came out reverse. So that in itself, I love to see it. I'm going to leave it that way because it's showing, we'll clarify, but it's showing that, you know, you're ready, or you have released and healed situations from the past. That this could be why right now in this message coming onto the live, there was this energy of releasing through tears, but also it was calming at the same time. You know, express your love. So you're ready to be open and vulnerable again, where you feel as though you possibly encountered a situation, or just within meditation or sitting with yourself and being able to have the ability to connect with, okay, this is the way it would feel when the love is being reciprocated, the respect is being reciprocated, and it doesn't feel as though you have to defend yourself or do things to, you know what I'm saying, to get someone to, per se, move in a certain way. Honeymoon. Yeah. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. I'm going to read this in the sense of the love that you are finally able to attain with yourself. Okay? Before we even bring anything external into the picture. Stay optimistic about your love life with that shit. Positive thinking and faith will bring you unconditional love. It says romance, but unconditional love I prefer. Let's get one more. We have make the effort. That came out in reverse. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Explain source. Playfulness. To recapture unconditional love through romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Yep. So these steps that you used to take before in matters of love, it was looking for someone to love you the way you have yet to love yourself. Or now, see this type of message here, you would have to be honest with yourself. I mean, any of the message that I delivered, but you would have to be honest with yourself in terms of, in matters of relationships with a significant other, where the relationship is or where you are at in matters of relationships based off of the way you feel about yourself, where you are at in terms of, let's say, a situation from the past occurs in a new relationship, not exactly the same way, but the theme of it, communication, happens in this new relationship. In what way do you see yourself going about that based off of what you've learned, where you are at now? Because in the previous, you may have had a conversation about certain things that were not moving the way they should, so that way the relationship could be smooth sailing. Having the conversation about it and still nothing changes. But now in this new relationship, you have the conversation and you see that things shift, which was also part of that message from yesterday, not to self-sabotage something that is new and refreshing that is coming into your life. Let's clarify this, because these cards here don't be sugarcoating nothing. So clarify. Let me look. Let me look at these two that came out in reverse together. Forgiving and learning in reverse, and make the effort in reverse. That could also be part of it. That could be another thing too, in terms of where you've learned your lesson, practiced the art of forgiveness. Okay, you made the effort you had to make, and now you're literally just, you're done with it. You're finally done with it. It's coming through as you never even probably seen yourself in a million years moving this way, but you've been knowing what to do about it. The fact that you have to take certain steps is where you're just, you're just wow. But, okay. Forgiving and learning, make the effort in reverse. Greetings, y'all. Yeah, especially with that 1 Corinthians in regards to love never fails. Being in a relationship that, that you may not be in at this time, you're no longer making the effort because it wasn't progressing. It wasn't going towards the goal of, building with one another. And if there's moments where there was some form of disagreement, instead of it being handled or dealt with, rather, because it was dealt with some form of disrespect, not instead of, but it being handled with some level of disrespect is part of the reason why you're prepared, because you're aware of a certain pattern of something and it's not, beneficial to you. And what helps you get to that point is you recognizing what even initiated you into this relationship? Where did this energy come from that you felt it was okay to be in this type of union or connection? So you can move on from it. You know what I'm saying? Defining the situation so you can become clearer. And freeing up your headspace. 40-40 on the timeline. Now that took a minute. And it's in reverse. However, the giver's there. At the bottom of the deck, you have given money. What's this that came out? Photo proof. Getting evidence, and it came out reverse, and we're clarifying these reverse cards too. You're no longer giving your value away. So it's coming through. You don't. It's something. You really don't care anymore. The way I'm delivering this message is someone who was possibly in some form of connection. Now, this could be a significant other, family, whatever, where they were constantly manipulated. And now you just on some, I don't give a fuck no more. But one thing is for sure, two things for certain, that shit ain't happening no more. $42.24. Is you really over it. Love it. Yeah, because it's not worth the energy of having you feeling as though, you know what I'm saying, you're going through that level of anxiety and depression or feeling misunderstood and all this other, that shit ain't, especially when it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over again. No. When there's more toxicity than there is a healthy dynamic, this came out sideways, reflecting. Yeah. What's this? Too busy winning. As you, hey, as you should be. Well, productive. Too productive winning. Because busy don't make you productive. Busy causes confusion. Busy, literally, when you call somebody, that could be something too, where you disconnected or change numbers and somebody can't reach you. But when you call a number and there's a busy signal, that means there's no connection. So to be busy, yeah. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Rejected. I'm telling you. The cards did it, not me. Yeah. There's that. Because that passion and honeymoon over there, that's all. That's the new situation. There has been constant cycles of forgiving and learning. But where does the remembrance come into play? Do you remember that you've done this at least twice? The same shit twice? And nothing has changed? Because here's the thing in regards to relationships, right? If you know 646 that you're capable of changing something to make it work, if someone expresses to you and you know you can make the changes, but that's not being reciprocated, that's all the information you need at that point. That's all the information you need at that point. Furthermore, especially if it has to do with some level of disrespect towards the relationship, you as a person, or them vice versa, however that may be. Divination abuser, love on the brain. Wow. Speaking of getting evidence. See, this may be something here where this just got so messy real fast. There could be something in regards to watching too many readings, too many love readings, and not being able to make the decision in the past. Not trusting your own intuition. I really do love readings. So there could definitely be something here in regards to, it had to come out this way. Make sure if you do, attain some reading that you know the way the person moves. Your soul says yes. Don't just be compulsive and just, you know what I'm saying? Because not everybody that does readings has the proper intentions. Hustling. Making it rain, focused on money, getting it. Yeah, you stay focused on what you got to do. Here, moving on. Show me this new situation. Somebody over here buying flowers. Buy yourself some flowers. Now, a mother's lucid moment or day is every day. However, some of you, condolences, you may have a mother figure that's on the other side. And when this occurred, you may have entered a relationship that probably didn't turn out to be the healthiest. Okay? And speaking to that vulnerability. Where someone, knows that you're in this vulnerable state and really didn't move with you accordingly, or you didn't give yourself the, enough time to process your emotions before getting into a relationship. Always partying is at the bottom of the deck, so that could have been a situation as to why a relationship ended, where this person always goes out, you not the type to go out all the time, especially if you don't live with this person. They're constantly out, but they don't get the concept of, communicating with their partner, so it creates static in the relationship. But if you're just telling them just to communicate, they feel as though you're taking them away from what it is that they're doing. But it's far from that, because what I'm getting is you are a type of person that you listen, do you, but just communicate. You know what I'm saying? Do you, but just communicate. You don't gotta be being on the phone for hours. Again, especially if you don't live with the person, you know. I mean, because if you live with a person, that dynamic is going to be a bit different. So now you're tired of expressing yourself and you just ready to, you know what I'm saying, just let that go. As you should, especially if it's draining you. It's doing more of draining you than it is helping you and uplifting you, because the relationship that you are in should empower you. You should empower each other. Wasting time, stuck, no changes, limited. Now we're going to go to this new situation here. Now, on another note, because this is cyberbully here, you are being bullied online, or they are, has suffered from it, etc. Because in this image, you have someone, you know what I'm saying, just focus on what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. That's another side of it where, okay, this could be why, from a cross-watcher's experience, why a person wants to go, because it's too much of, you know, what's going on, and not giving the person any room to breathe. You got to be honest with yourself about doing that too. Stop talking shit, just be honest. And ask yourself, why does that happen? Where does that come from? The necessity to smother your partner, or whomever this is. Let's see. New situation. Passion, honeymoon, happiness hater. Okay. You will have haters. Could be this past person. I mean, again, that's their business. Don't feed into it or feed it. But the key is happiness. Okay. Now, this could be a situation where the new person is not so much a mutual acquaintance to the person you were with before, but y'all were in the same vicinity at some point where each one at least knows just by face who the other one is. And whoever this was previously is very immature. I'll say that. Because if you have to keep telling them something over and over and over again, there's no sense of growth there. Where now they may even go to the extent of divination, abuser level on the brain, getting someone to create some type of fake account just to reach you, or just to cause some type of friction, or just to see the way you would move if you're the type of person, let's say, you know, you answer people in DMs or whatever. The person from the past wants to see if you were actually a faithful person by being another person or something. You know how the way people move when they ain't got shit else to do. The drama starter. Attempting to be someone that is intrigued by you while you're in this new relationship, just to see how you will move. People got a lot of time. You got running here, happiness hater, running, creativity. Feeds off of you. So as you're distancing yourself further and further away from the past with this new situation, you know, just be mindful and not be reactive to what these happiness haters may have set up. And just protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Energetically. You won't even have to worry about that. But this is the message and I'm just delivering it. Stalker. Yeah, see, your new situation is going to be some sort of attempt to not allow it to grow and breathe, or this could be something you're finding out approaching this full moon in Scorpio. Because Scorpio does have to do with that level of deep, intense emotions and people that you exchange your sexual energy with, and finding out, you know, exactly why something really wasn't working out. As far as something being behind it, causing some type of friction. Obsessive lover. You got obsessed here twice. Dangerous, toxic, unhealthy, possessiveness, karmic. Inside scoop, a closer look, nosy. What in the fuck? Or somebody you rejected in the past, and you may not even talk to this person, but they just doing the absolute most. Because you're not responding to them. You got shine here at the bottom of the deck. Your light irritates their demons. Your light irritates the way they have to, you know, it irritates them. So when it comes to them having to evolve and grow and mature, it puts them in this space to do the complete opposite. Now, some of you could be entering a new relationship, or you have, and you may have a family member that has something to say about a certain type that you're intrigued by. Live your life. Tell people to go mind their business by living your life. Ego. Hurt ego. Ego get in the way of relationship. Creativity still here. That's why passion, a reverse card came out. Honeymoon, a reverse card came out, because there's always, it seems as though every time you're moving forward in your relationship, some shit from the past continuously wants to come up, where you find yourself having to explain yourself. But no, you ain't got to explain to people shit, especially if they not paying your bills. Even if they are, no one should have you feeling, you know, putting you in a position because they're doing this that you, the fuck out of here. Uninterested. Yeah, so there's that. So this may not, whoever this is from your past, energetically, you may have to do some form of cut cord. Especially if this person that you're entering a relationship with, or that you started something new with, they're wide open spiritually. They're highly sensitive, so they may not, could be a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, so they may not be so aware as to what it is to protect their aura, you know. If you are the spiritual one in that relationship, it's time for you to get to the nitty gritty, get to the bottom of it as to the way the relationship is going to thrive, especially if you are aware of what can be done to protect your union by protecting yourself and your partner. Now, this is where some of you are going to possibly have to make a decision if this is something new that you're entering, and the way they respond to the, what requirements have to, or what has to be adjusted in order for the relationship to flourish. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Bad karma. See, that divination abuser keeps coming up at the forefront of my mind now as we're doing this. Because that full moon in Scorpio is going to bring that shit up. Oh, yeah. Some of you could be seeing people of your past that you haven't seen in years. I mean, 15 years or more, whatever. And you're seeing them in your dream state. It's because it's time to pay up. Giving money was the first card at the bottom of the deck. It's time to pay up for those debts. Moving on. Thank you. Next, boss daddy. There we go. There we go. Stable, rich business owner, CEO, big dick energy or big boom boom energy, whatever. Moving on towards, that's the new. That's the new. Okay. What's behind that? Spiritual hater. So some of you was in situations with people in the past. Look at this. I'm telling you, it's like talking about the spirituality or spiritual protection of your relationship. It's not funny, but it is, because it paused on 6226. Let me see. Let me look at the gematria of that. I think this shit is a game. It can't even be something that happened in previous generations. You know what I'm saying? And the relationships that you are in are having to pay off the karma for that. It be that way. Let me see. Something about cobalt blue. Somebody could have a car that color. Yeah, the color blue is very significant. Are you shitting me? I mean, we saw 622 during the reading, but one of the values here for 6226 in gematria, meeting date of the twin flame, Saturday, June 22, time noon. Let me see if the 22nd falls on it don't fall on a Saturday, not this year, but it sure as does fall on the next day, Sunday. Our divine parents will save us, but not if they lose their unique self in that process. You already had that card out here earlier too. Holy parents speak, it is finished. Something about Capricorn season, I just felt the tingle right here too. Capricorn energy could be significant. Or someone in a position of power, they let that power get to their head. This could be someone from the past that once y'all parted ways, They're the type of person to say, oh, no one will ever love you the way that I loved you. They are absolutely correct. Shout out to them for saying that. Because you're not about to tolerate the same shit you did before. No, you're not. Mm-mm. She says, you freaks read my mind and spy on me 24 hours. 24/7, you poor souls. That's a lot of that shit over here, too. Someone could be Italian, or something about Italy, or someone who loves Italian food. Okay, I'm about to get off this. Legal issues. That's done. Yeah. So I had to see if that person could be experiencing some type of legal issues, messing around with someone who is spiritually protected. Someone could be a foreigner, court, judges, immigration, lawyers. Or somebody could currently be going through some form of legal issues. That grudge literally brought their ass over there. Tiny energy. Dirty offer, broke ass. That's crazy. Yo, these cards are a mess. But now let's get into some other messages here. Cause now I see what the gunk is. Cause we talking about a new situation, all this old shit coming up. Obviously, that message may not be for everybody. Fuck. See, you having a clean slate and somebody just won't come. That's just the ashes though from the incense. It's fine. I'll clean it up later. Yeah, them haters about to get burnt. About to send their ass to hell. And that's just within oneself. Send them into a space where now they have to change. They have to transform. You won't talk about revenge. Sometimes revenge ain't necessary. What's necessary is you stepping up and doing what you came here to do in this cycle of life. So the cycles don't repeat for the next generation. And sometimes that revenge that you want is expediting the process where someone has to transform themselves and change and evolve because they got no choice. You know the anguish sometimes people go through? I mean, you know it by accepting, you know what I'm saying? The role that you have to take on in your journey to transform. Imagine a motherfucker that don't want to. You don't want to change? All right. Who can't hear, feel. A hard head leads to a soft ass. Angels and ancestors, what message you have for the collective? Those rising up from this energy, no longer feeling the need to explain themselves to people who can't even hear, or people who don't even know themselves, or those who just want to put them in a state of confusion. What message you have for the collective rising up from this energy? Because you already know the vibes over here on this channel. It's spiritual warrior vibes. Obviously, everybody that watches this channel is not a spiritual warrior, but however, what's the message energetically? What you got here for the collective, beloved? Wait for important information. With the shaman at the bottom of the deck, trust in higher forces. Wait for important information. Elaborate. About a challenge when it comes to letting go of the need to be right. That fast. That's what Pluto's helping you do right now in these types of situations. Now, hold up. This don't mean, you know what I'm saying? If you are noticing that someone is doing something repeatedly when it comes to your character on some defamation type shit, do what you got to do, protect yourself, and don't just be sitting there and allowing people, you know what I'm saying, to just step all over you. No. But if a person don't know you and they just talking from the side of their mouth, they don't know you, first and foremost, from what this energy is. Trust in higher forces. Because as either you may even have the opportunity to see how quick karma does move. They sitting there running their mouth, or whatever the case may be. Let's say this is on a social media platform, and then they shit get shut down, or whatever. So you may not know why they haven't gone live in a long time, possibly because their phone broke, sitting there talking shit. It's like, oh, they need to be right. Look at all this. I think it's the smoke is very significant. Especially if a person doesn't know you and they come towards you with some nonsense, it's because your aura irritates the shit out of them. They know that they can't hide or move a certain way, the way they would move it with others, but they don't know where this energy's coming from, and all they can do is be reactive and defensive. To the point that they slip up and say something that literally causes whoever it is that was amongst them at that time notices who they are now. Just with your presence. Star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Wait for important information to let go of the need to be right. Follow the voice of your soul. Literally, we was talking about before. What helps you to let go of the need to be right, or seeing things from right or wrong, good or bad, get more into the aspects of the universal laws and seeing things from a cause and effect standpoint. So you can bask in joy and light. So you can become more empowered and have a clearer vision as to what's going on. The sun here with the summer card. You get more with honey than you do with salt. High priestess. Harness mystic power. Okay. Harness mystic power. Harnessing your emotions, the story of the emotions, the story that's being told through your feelings. Overall, just know that you are loved, but also let yourself be loved. Again, don't bring in past energy into a new relationship or past ways of communicating or any type of habits that you had in a previous situation into a new one. Do we want to do this right now? Yes. Wait for important information. This reading is for somebody who had enough, okay? This person done said, man, fuck everybody. Wait for important information regarding deception and envy, which was the card that came out in the position of what's happening next yesterday. Or the reading right before this one. Wait for important information. It may have to do with something regarding between February 9th and the 20th. Let's see. Let go of the need to be right. Okay. The divination abuser keeps coming up now. Wait for important information, deception and envy. Let go of the need to be right. So let's say you have this inclination about someone who may be projecting or you know what I'm saying, throwing some type of spiritual attack towards you. The letting go of the need to be right, to get to the bottom of it, it may not even be that person, in the sense of the seed of where that energy is coming from may not be that person. That person could be a byproduct of the actual situation. So surrender the energy entirely to source by doing your protection work for yourself. And whomever or whatever that may be in doing so will show up. You'll possibly find out who it is, and you may even be surprised about where this shit actually came from. Of any type of possible energetic blockages that were being sent your way. However, first and foremost, you won't just know that these type of energies can't affect you unless you allow it to. But I just have to mention it because there are, when it comes to watching certain readings, you may hear about this, and some people who are not, knowledgeable of the way energy works can easily be taken, through a mental spin and worrying about, oh my gosh, this person did this. No. Fulfillment of wishes. Because if you don't invite it in, access is denied. So now wherever that shit came from has to go infinite fold back to where it came from. That's the beauty of you doing the spiritual protection over yourself. Work with the element that is most dominant in your natal chart in terms of this level of spiritual protection. What do I mean by that? You can go to astro-seek.com, put in your chart information, and at the bottom of that chart, you're going to have the elements, and it's going to show you you know, the way they operate within your chart. Or you can even select the section that says dominant planets and work with that planet, or work with all three that are dominant, because it'll give you the top three in bold, and work with those energies. See, for example, using myself as an example, I wish a motherfucker would, okay? Because my top three starts with Mars, followed by Saturn, and then the moon. Come around here and fuck around and find out. And with that being said, the mindset of wondering if this person's doing this, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead and do it and see what happens. Go ahead and do it and see what happens. See what I'm saying? So the more you know about yourself, the less you have to worry about. And this could also help you too in terms of deciphering energies when people come around you. Because here's another thing. Some of you are literally here to take people through a karmic lesson. That's not everybody's role. It sounds nice, it sounds cute, it makes you puff your chest up and all this other shit, but when you recognize what's actually going on in this process, I promise you it's not something you really want to be, you know, doing anyway. But it is what it is. You may be in a position to take someone through a karmic lesson. You already know that this person is going to fuck up, because it's written that when you show up, they're going to do this, but this is the end of the cycle if they do this. And you do all you can to express to this energy, okay, that this is the way you are. But they take that in a way as far as you being egotistical. But once again, this is speaking to those of you who are aware of what your role is. You tell them exactly how things will unfold about other situations where people didn't quite get the message. And that reaction right there, where they feel as though, who the fuck you think you are? That's where now they have to repeat the lesson. Unfortunately, they have to repeat that lesson with you until they notice, fuck, okay, I'm not doing this no more. I have to change now. And by the time that happens, you have done everything you've had to do in getting them into this space of saying, this has to change now. You may not even be in that person's presence at that time anymore. Now, this could also be a realization that some of you are having in regards to past situations and the way it unfolded. Okay? So, peacekeeper, keeping the peace, letting go the need to right, letting go the need to be right. The peacekeeper, keeping your peace, keeping yourself to yourself. No longer giving, over giving to others to get them to see something that it would take for you to disconnect, exit, for them to see it. Heart chakra. And what's this? Balance in reverse. Okay. 411 or 11-4 right there. That's a 6. I'm going to leave this here. Look at this. Another 6. Temptation, the devil card. This is probably one of the strangest readings I've felt myself doing so far. Because this one here, okay, this temptation card is telling me with this star ancestor card that these two go together. Based off of what we just said, follow the voice of your soul. So this could be someone that okay. This is probably for about 1% of you right now, even less than that. You knew exactly what you came here to do. You have a recollection of your past life in a way that is beyond ignorant or even non-ignorant human knowledge. Okay? Where not the choose wisely card. Oh, you on a mission. Whoever this is, you are on a mission. Especially with this waiting for important information. Now this is coming through as the Matrix. The Oracle, Trinity, Neo, that whole shebang. Okay. With this one showing up here first, and then you have the star ancestor, follow the voice of your soul, temptation. This could be a test of your power too, though. Because before you reach the devil card, temptation, you have to go from the fool to the magician, to the high priestess, the empress, the emperor. You have the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, the Strength card, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, the Justice card, the Hangman, Temperance before you get here. So you would have to first be bold enough to go on this adventure of recognizing your archetype as a magician, a high priestess, an empress, emperor, Hierophant, to know what decisions you have to make moving forward, from the Lovers to the Chariot, to know what decisions you have to make moving forward. That's going to help you to build the strength. This is insane. That's going to help you to build the strength to go through a cycle of having to overcome certain habits, the Hermit, that then leads you to going into an isolated space in order for destiny and fate to bring you into a state of balance, which means between that Wheel of Fortune and that Justice card, there's a moment of a storm or something that goes out of balance. The storm comes in to clear it up, to bring it into balance, and it puts you at a standstill. The Hangman. That standstill becomes your chrysalis stage. So there was possibly a period after you recognizing all of these type of attributes and archetypes that are connected to you, because you do got this high priestess here with that oracle. So this is obviously somebody here. You on a serious mission, especially when it comes to bringing the heart chakra back to balance. The heart chakra within your chakra and this planet. So your journey is not for the faint of heart at all. Okay? Then once you go through that period of a standstill where now you're seeing things from a different angle, being upside down to see it clearly, you're now able to go through this transformation, the Death card. Through that Death card, you see the process that you've taken from 0 to 13 to get into this space of Temperance to become the Alchemist, which now you're ready for the next level. This one shows up. Because before the devil can show up, or you having to go through an experience that this is the point where the actual threshold is what you've been training for. This is what you've been training for. You've reached this point, because after this, if the lesson is not fully learned, just know the divine is still on your side, because what's after this devil card is the Tower. So a Tower moment occurs where there's some sort of enlightenment to get you shifting out of it, so you can now go towards the position of healing, the Star card. And through that healing process, you're healing your subconscious mind and preparing yourself to reach the point of judgment, which would be Pluto's energy. But before that, there's a moment of bliss, because you have that Sun card that shows up between the moon and that moment of judgment. Rightfully so. Gratitude for making it that way, because this shit would have been all over the place. And you have that moment of bliss and clarity that now you're able to make the proper judgment to do exactly what the major arcanas take you through, which is to close the cycle, the world card. Now, in not closing out the cycle, this is where between, let's say because you're here now, you're at this level of temptation, you're at the devil card. After this is the tower. Let's say now the tower moment happens. A sudden shift occurs where everything is pulled from beneath you. What's going to determine whether you are ready to make the proper judgment to close out a cycle is going to reflect whether you react to the tower or respond to the tower. You responding to the tower is that you accept the changes in the divine intervention that has shown up in your life, especially when it comes to a thought pattern that's constantly being unresolved as to why you keep getting into these situations of deception and envy and being unfulfilled when it comes to connections of love. Okay. Quite a bit. So the what's T card, what's the T card, those messages that was coming out, whatever those energies are of the past that was interfering, they did exactly what they were supposed to do to show you your position in regards to what has to be handled. Because you may, let's say, you may feel as though you're not the type of person that should be attracting that type of energy. But you could have a homegirl that does, or a homeboy that does, and that's enough to bring all this other extra shit into your vicinity. That's all it takes. You know? That's all it takes. So an example of that with the Tower card, after this is the Tower card. There could be, let's say, you may think it's random, but there could be some sort of disconnection between you and somebody that you felt as though that you was going to be cool with, because that's the moment of reaction versus response. This is happening because that motherfucker got to go because they're connected to this other extra shit. Okay? It's it. Tell me. Harness mystic power. Five of Swords. Conflict and defeat. Venus in Aquarius. Harness mystic power. Harness the information that is coming to you about your value and what you, and the connection of your value to other groups of people. This is exactly what we was just saying right now. Because Venus, this would actually be Mercury in Aquarius. So information about certain groups of people or what you call friends. And you have the Chariot showing up at the bottom of the deck. It's time for you to move forward from all of this. You don't have to question it anymore. Nah. Where's these, where did this start? Source, can you show me where this started? Where did this start for the collective? Whoever this message is for. Where did what start? What I'm asking? Basically, what is the seed that is connected to why a cycle keeps repeating? That's a lot. You have adjacent possibilities, number 24. Let me see. No, the Five of Swords is Venus. It is Venus. The Six of Swords is Mercury. 2-4, that's the second decan of Aquarius, which is the Six of Swords. Where did this start? It started from when someone decided to move on and actually see the possibilities that are being offered. So this, okay. Let me see something. And then we have the sun here. It's a lot of Aquarius energy showing up. 124, that's Aquarius too. Let me go here. Let me see. Show me. Where did this start? Father, medicine woman or man, finances. This is wisdom is at the bottom of the deck, which is the reward of Saturn. Saturn is connected to the devil card here in terms of putting you through certain situations just to see what you're going to do. Just see if you learned your lesson. Father here. The sun is at the bottom of the deck, so it has to do with your father. Something has to do with your father. Or your father's side. There's some sort of debt that has to be paid off in terms of some form of something that has to do with spirituality that wasn't handled. A debt wasn't settled. With medicine man, medicine woman, and finances sideways. Hold up. So yeah. What do you want this collective to do in this instance is what I want to know. This here seems serious. I mean, you know. I mean, obviously harness your mystic power, because this is helping some of you here in regards to heightening your ability to discern, to follow your intuition, or to recognize when you're getting this intuitive hunch or nudge to do something or how to move. Surrender unhealthy relationships in order to surrender to receiving support and love. And then what it says here, surrender to drama. So drama comes out. This is the second time you got a drama starter. If you are surrounded, okay. The source of this energy, let's say you constantly experience an unnecessary of ups and downs. Yes, we get ebbs, there's ebbs and flows, but this shit is just almost up, but a lot of downs. Almost up and a lot of downs. If you are connected to someone still up to this day that is connected to some sort of drama, or people that are wanted to be the center of attention in an unhealthy way because of the lack of love that they have for themselves, it's time to sever that connection. Even if it's just for a moment or a lifetime. Some of you have to make a decision about severing certain type of connections for a lifetime because it's playing out a certain story here. It's on some, this is a karmic debt that's being paid out by you doing so, or bringing something to balance, because there could be something that has been going on within the family where there's a lot of unsuccessful relationships for this reason. What's this? Surrender to success, which means surrender to progressive movement forward towards your goal. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. And the first card we got out here in terms of, what's the source of this is the adjacent possibilities. And that was one of the messages in terms of someone who decides to see the possibilities of growth in life. That's when shit hit the fan. That's when it became something different. 7:44 right now. The summertime could have been significant. Or this summer, surrender denial. Accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decision. I'm feeling this in my gut because I kid you not, a little bit of story time. When going through a major shift in my spiritual journey and decisions that I had to make with certain people, when it came time to make that decision, this card actually helped the most because it showed up several times, in doing readings or whatever the case may be. But in that moment, as they call it a cliche, but it's not an actual cliche if the shit didn't click. It clicked then. Where you may have found yourself, you know what I'm saying, not accepting people and situations exactly as they are and denying the difficulties of it, and it caused you to want to repair it or see if something can change. When the only thing, of course, that you can change is you. You know what I'm saying? So surrender fear. Because, okay, this could be someone who uses death as a tactic to keep you around. In the sense of where they may say, okay, well, if you leave and we never talk, then what if, the day comes where I'm no longer here? You want to know what a great response would be for that? We'll tell them, well, at that point, we'll have a better conversation the way I speak with my ancestors. And that will be the end of the end of that conversation will be exactly at that moment. Because for what? especially with the way this energy is coming through. You're someone who can attain messages through any of your senses clearly. And you're being placed in a position to have to make a very heavy decision here in terms of you stepping into your God power and knowing what that means. You're no longer looking for a savior outside of yourself. You have a different perception of what death is. It's a transformation. You go through that daily. The same way the sun rises and it sets, you do too. I even pick up these other two, so we're going to read that. Look at that. We're going to read those as well. Surrender the idea you can fix someone. Surrender your desire to control people, or those who have a desire to control you, or those who feel as though that they can fix you. Surrender to setting limits. It is healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. And the other one, there you go. Surrender unhealthy relationships once again. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You don't deserve to be, you deserve. They don't see that you possibly got people around you who feel as though you don't deserve. Let me tell you something. You are loved infinitely. If you've ever been in an experience where people tell you, oh, you don't deserve this person, you don't deserve to be loved, or you ain't. I was about to say something, but I gotta watch my words because the shit will happen. So you deserve to be treasured by others and not to be surrounded. And see, that's OD. That is OD. Because it keeps coming out in a way of you don't deserve to be treasured by others and to not be surrounded by positive people. That could be what someone has said over someone. And I'm going to say it now, from this day forth, whoever you are, whatever energy you are, go to hell. Immediately. Crazy. They got this shit fucked up. If this is resonating with you and you know exactly who it is that you need to get the fuck up out your space, 108. That 108 and that number 108 is connected to the triple goddess energy. And listen to me clearly. Who any of you that are resonating with this energy, if you got people around you that do not deserve your energy, stop being so fucking soft and get these people to fuck up on out of here. By removing yourself out this energy. You don't deserve to have people around you who don't fucking see all of you. Fuck them. Always want to compare themselves to you. Now somebody gonna be forced to fucking transform and they gonna go through a certain level of anguish because they don't want to change. Now, motherfucker, you gotta change now. How about that? Now you gotta go through a transformation. What advice you have here for the collective? fuck out of here. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. I'm on that type of time. Final advice for the collective. 11123. Surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Whoever this is why you're here. I know what to do with that energy. But surrender to divine timing. This is why you're here. I can hold space for that, and I know exactly what to do with it. What's in the center? Surrender worry. I'm telling you. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that spirit is guiding you always. Okay? Right up under that, surrender the spirit, and water just started running. Once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. So, the only thing about this message that I would say, I highly don't recommend that if whatever this is, you know, that you got to get out of your life, that you keep, that you, if the fact that you're here and the way that energy transpired, especially when it comes to something that no longer serves you, make sure you're not going back to that energy, because you are going to go through the same consequences of the way that energy is being handled and dissolved. Okay? Love yourself so much unconditionally that you can see when somebody is playing with you, and handle it by distancing yourself from it. Because I'm pretty sure some of y'all ancestors, some of y'all got some grandmother ancestors that don't tolerate shit from men. Not condoning violence, but they was on that shit. The men that they were with, they not that they pum pums or whatever, but they knew not to fuck with her. Cause she'll wax that ass up for free. Telling you. Come over here, fuck around with that shit. Alright. I am not sweet when it comes to handling shit. When it comes to, okay, this is a message that's being delivered, hold space for it, and you know what to do with it once you hold space for it to dissolve it. this one. Let me pick up this animal deck. Welcome, beloved. All is well, all is well. I am doing well. I am doing well, doing what I love. The spiritual warrior had to come about. All is well. All is well. Look at that. Blackbird. Fucking hands is shaking. I'm telling you, yo, don't come over here with that shit. If you are not prepared to end some shit, I'm really not the type of reader you want to watch. I don't play around spiritually. I do not. And neither do the spirit guides and ancestors that roll with me, and not just of my bloodline, but from a cosmic galactic space. Don't fuck around. Unconditional love is the mission. And in the purest heart is the wildest beast. All right. The blackbird, clear communication and attentive listening. Let's see here. It shows up, it's calling the attention here. Let me look at this. When we receive the message of the blackbird, we are invited to practice clear communication and attentive listening in our interaction with others. Let me just pause real quick because the next step, okay, if this is a message that's been resonating with you, your next step is to do everything that has to do with you loving yourself and not having to prove a point to other people. As to you showing that you love yourself. Just do what you do that is nurturing and loving to you and move on with your life. I'm telling you, this is not a game right now. This shit is not a game right now. It reminds us of the importance of expressing our thoughts and feelings openly and sincerely and being empathetic and available and listening to others. This allows us to establish more authentic and satisfying relationships and to contribute to the creation of more harmonious and supportive communities. Now, within the next 7 lucid moments, if you hear crows or blue jays, it's a reminder of what was told to you in this message. Especially if you are still playing around with an energy that is to be released. The urgency and the way this is coming out right now, and I'm gonna do this just for those of you who are not prepared, because this is not a joke. If you are not ready to release anything, I remove this entire message from your consciousness. Remove this entire message from your consciousness. And on top of that, we have to create a distance between your energy and this channel because you're not prepared to shift. It's a spirit card in this deck. Number 33. You learned all you had to learn from that lesson. Remember, the first card in that love deck was forgiving and learning in reverse. If you say you're tired of something and it's not, you know what I'm saying, beneficial to you, you'll be received with open arms when you let it go. All that struggling that you were doing to fix whatever this other shit was, nah. Know your worth, love. Know your worth. For real, for real. What's this? The Sea Eagle. Explore the depths of your soul and find peace, which is the Judgment card energy number 20. With the Blackbird once again. So how many times we shuffled this deck? It's just giving you a confirmation for real. Explore the depths of the soul and find peace. When you receive this message of the Sea Eagle, we're invited to explore the depths of our soul, develop our inner strength, and find inner peace. This allows us to live a more authentic and meaningful life when we feel in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. Despite its hostile environment, the Sea Eagle also represents the inner peace that can be found in the depths of the soul. We're invited to find calm and serenity within ourselves, even when life tests us. It encourages us to let go of tensions, worries, and anxieties that afflict us, and to find the peace and tranquility that reside deep within our being. So I'm going to close this reading out with the Kali card because my eyes are getting hot. This dragon about to come the fuck out. Because the energy got to get the dragged out of here. Let's get a Kali card to close out the reading. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna have to put that in the beginning of these readings because the way this energy is set up, what I'm aware of, just know the way I nurture and help the collective may not be as nurturing as you may expect it to be, especially when I can pick up on a frequency that's just doing way too much, way too fucking much. The way I read, I'm a multi-dimensional transmuter. You know what I'm saying? I read the cards, hold space for the energy, and you may see the way the shit get handled, but it's in a different way when it's not on here. Okay? That other way is too sensitive for any type of platform. It's too sensitive for the internet, period. That's fine, because it don't have to be something else, you know? What's the message, Kali? 12406. What's the message, Kali? Dakshina. And Dakshina and Chinamasta. 720. That's Moon in Cancer energy. I 2020. It's nothing to be, for those of you that are not too aware of the way I move when it comes to certain things. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's not no fear-mongering. No. Because once again, it's just about holding the space and doing what has to be done to get the energy to shift. You feel me? So I'm going to read number 20 first. Or that possibly the only one that has to be read. Sacred Sacred severance is her radical grace. She is our soul's power to shed and survive, to outgrow and evolve. When the soul needs to separate itself from that on which it once relied, be it a view of ourselves or the world, or a group or a belief system that cannot support the truths of the heart, she is the capacity, sovereignty, and courage required for self-liberation. Systems of oppression within your mind and your world will be overcome. You have the power to sever your attachment to the past and focus on inner regeneration and reorientation, healing into a path that is worthy of your heart. The fifth of the most Mahavidya wisdom goddesses is a most shocking form of Kali, Chinnamasta. She is a divine feminine avatar, self-decapitated and partaking of the blood that emerges from her throat. The name Chinnamasta translates as beheaded. You know how significant, can I tell you how significant this is? The full moon in Scorpio at 22 degrees is also going to be in opposition to the fixed star Algol Taurus 22 degrees, which is in the head of Medusa. She signifies a powerful activation of the spiritual path through the confrontation of oppressive behaviors, self-limiting attitudes, and intellectual dominance of intuition. The head is a symbol of the known, of thinking, of forms of authority. It is the head that wears the crown, the sign of status and power. Unrestrained by authority, she is able to overpower it. For our human selves, the head is the locus of control. So during a Chinnamasta initiation, you will not understand what is happening and you won't know how everything is going to turn out. This is as it's meant to be and not something you need to worry about or fight against. You don't. We got it handled. Okay? So this is why in this entire message, been stating from here on out, do what you have to do that expresses love to yourself. Don't think I'm carrying your energy in terms of, oh, now it's going to be a partner. Hell nah. No. That's not the way that's going to work. It's just more so, you see those, when you hear things are happening behind the scenes, well, they send my ass over here to just remind you, okay? This is the messenger that's going to remind you that things are happening behind the scenes. Just get out the way, okay? Leave whatever it is that you got to leave here and go about your business. Let her, this one here, doing this message, bring it to us, and we do what we got to do. That's it. You see the way people go to church and they go to the pew or whatever to do their confessions and shit? Chinnamasta is potent medicine for liberation. Her graphic iconography differentiates her from other forms of Kali that wear her favorite accoutrements of severed heads and skull garlands. Chinnamasta's severance is of her own head. This represents self-liberation. We do not need to wait for another to intervene. She shows the way to save ourselves, to move from inner courage and inner wisdom. So you've reached a point where there is no need for me to intervene, but enough is the fucking enough. Which is why the message, again, has to do with just go out there and do what you love to do. Express yourself to you. If you got people around you that don't understand you or the way you express yourself, they not people for you. They not the ones for you. Just remove yourself from that old version of yourself that felt as though that was necessary. That they were necessary people that you had to have around you, or energies that you had to have around you. I was just channeling shit. Her presence can indicate a time when you must trust yourself completely without external support systems to rely on. The beliefs and constructs that once supported you will no longer be able to do so. Success cannot come from the tried and true paths of the past. You are evolving beyond that. It is time to rest in the void and allow for a new way to emerge. And anyone that gets into the void, once again, this is why this is coming out this way. That was one of your first messages. If you continue to give into a situation that is no longer serving you, in the void for trespassing, placed into a position where now there has to be a transformation. So either way, when it comes to a tower moment or severing, at the end of it all, everybody benefits from it. But in terms of seeing the benefit of it, it's on a different timeline for each and every one involved. Okay. Her partaking of blood symbolizes the capacity to be nourished and fed by change rather than devastated or destroyed by them. It is reassurance that at a deeper level, you are gaining something from the chaos and deconstruction in your being and your life. As you continue to move through the process of change, you will gain energy for something new. Chinamasta is self-nourishing through the spiritually conscious application of destructive energy. Yes. I love that. Dakshina, the final card. This is the Kali Oracle deck, ferocious grace and supreme protection with the wild divine mother. I feel as though it's a great deck to use while Lilith is in Scorpio. Or during any type of whenever you want to use it anyway. Dakshina, fear can undermine your confidence, erode your trust, and steal away the joy you take in living. The benign, what is that on my nose? The benign yet mighty Dakshina Kali manifests to conquer fear and realign your mind and path towards peace and light. Make a sincere offering from your heart to her now, and you will receive her generous blessings and assistance. Open your heart with trust, for that which is blissed and beautiful wants to manifest in your life. Dakshina Kali conquers even the most extreme fears. She steps forward with her right foot, a sign that she will create order from chaos. Her forearms are raised to bestow blessings and to the wield divine weaponry necessary to protect the soul. She restores and realigns deftly, eliminating that which has no place on your soul path. Her actions are powerful and benevolent. She appears fierce, yet it is benign. Her oracle brings the message that a situation which may frighten or intimidate you is well within your capacity to handle. No matter how dramatic or intense the scenario may appear to be, it shall become little more than a passing memory, and shall not have any negative bearing upon your future. And so it is. This is also a reminder to put ourselves into the best state of receptivity. No matter how good or deserving we may strive to be, if we cannot open and allow grace in, our wounded perspective shall continue to have the upper hand in our minds and create further suffering in our lives. If we believe we do not deserve grace, are not worthy of the gift of the Divine Mother's healing and love, and are not willing to trust her and drop our defenses, then we are saying, thank you, but I cannot accept, for this gift is too much. That's why that energy was coming out on that card of the surrender card, where it when that it had to do with you deserve to be surrounded by grace and positive people, but it kept coming through as if someone was saying you don't deserve it. That's no longer your story, love. That is no longer your story. It never was your story to begin with. Just notice how powerful you are that you decided to take it on. You went through the experiences that you've gone through, the ideology that you had of yourself before that you no longer have. It's done. It's done. Yeah, to tell me no. Okay? I love y'all. Just know I'm here for y'all. Whenever it comes time for you to, I mean, that's just the way I am as a goddess, high priestess, empress that you hear me say at the beginning, but there's a wild ass beast in here, okay? What you expect? I was born the year of the dragon, so shit get real over here. But just know it's all love, because all I want is nothing but the best for all of you. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but the best. And whatever it takes for that, without harm done to anyone, then that's what it is. Because trust and know, even in, when the energy gets to that point where, you know what I'm saying, we gotta fuck some shit up, it's different over here. Because again, the way I go about that energetically and how I release that to source and allow it to do what it has to do, it puts people in a position to change. That's all. If there are other things that are beneath the surface, behind the scenes, that are having to be taken care of because of the way that person lives their life, and it turns out differently, that's a different story. That's a different story, I'm just the messenger, literally the bridge. When you look at a galactic signature, that's literally my galactic signature, the white rhythmic world bridger. So I can tell when something has to be shifted or attuned, so that way you can actually have a beautiful transformation, whether it's the one you're having here or the one when it's time for you to go into the next realm. Okay? And even with having Pluto and Scorpio in the 4th house, when it comes to seeing what has to transform at the root, because the 4th house speaks to the root of things. It also has to do with ancestors too. So when it comes to getting to the root of it, instead of dealing with shit on the surface, I don't do surface shit. No. This has to get handled. Okay, what's at the root? What is this being built on as to why this is even standing? Okay, so infinite gratitude. You definitely pushed me to change, and I'll forever love you for that. Oh, gratitude, love. Mwah. Ashe, organic melanin goddess ascension. Listen. When they say to whom much is given, much is required, if you find yourself, also as a fellow spiritual warrior, and you notice how intense the energy can be when it comes to your sensitivity and what you can pick up on and the way you gotta move, just know you're not alone. It's possibly why you showed up here too. Obviously, not everyone is on that path. Some of you are literally here to be the guiding light and love, and do that. Do that. Don't attempt to be something else. And doesn't mean because you are a spiritual warrior don't mean you have love. But that spiritual warrior shit ain't for kicks and giggles. Literally performing exorcisms out this bitch. Yeah. You gotta have tough skin, a tough soul, spirit, solid. Solid in what you know and believe in. That's all it is. Just be solid in what it is that you know and believe in. Can't nobody fuck with you. And you know when you moving that way because people get uncomfortable. They want to be around you, but then they don't know really how to be around you because you carry an energy about yourself that is just, it's unmatched. Create. Don't compete, my loves. Create and do not compete. And with that, let's cleanse your energy here. Okay. I want you to take deep breaths again. We're going to inhale for 4. Inhaling the abundance, the clarity, holding it for gratitude, and exhaling any residue that has to do with the shit that no longer serves you anymore. Okay, so just inhale for 4. Clarity, abundance, love, hold it for gratitude, and release anything that no longer serves you. Making room for inhale for 4 for clarity, love, abundance, exceptional, amazing health. Hold it for gratitude. Release what no longer serves you. Exhale, making more room for the abundance of love. Adjust space here. Close off the energy, that which no longer serves the collective, no longer exists in their paradigm, in their dimensions, their perceptions. The collective is ready to shift, be great, experience love, expansion of it, limitless, abundant expansions of love, and just go out there, be beautiful, handsome. Make sure you know, do your workouts, your walks, drink your water, do your stretches, journal, love upon yourself. You deserve that.